What's that for the original?
For mini Samsung is it? Samsung?
It's for the S, right?
Yes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو على ما من به علينا من النعم الكثيرة الظاهرة والباطنة وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. Amma ba'd. By the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, or with the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, all praise belong to Allah, the one that has bestowed upon us blessings in abundance, those blessings that are inward and outward. And I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's alone of having any partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad ibn Abdullah, that he is his servant and his messenger. To proceed, ikhwan, Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min ilmin la yanfa' wa min qalbin la yakhsha' wa min nafsin la tashba' wa min du'a'in la yusma'. Verily, Ya Allah, we seek refuge with you from knowledge that has no benefit, and from a heart that has no fear, and from a soul that has no satisfaction nor contentment, and from a dua that goes unanswered, To proceed, ikhwan, فنواصل معكم في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue in this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful and the most compassionate. مستفيدين متعلمين من علم مصطلح الحديث. So we continue to learn collectively from the science of the technical terms and names of al-hadith. مصطلح الحديث. طيب ونستفيد من كتاب الإمام البيقوني رحمه الله تعالى, and we're deriving benefit from the speech of the noble Imam Al-Allama Al-Shaykh Muhammad ibn Taha Al-Bayquni. May Allah have mercy upon him. طيب أين وصلنا يا إخوان؟ إلى أي نوع من أنواع الحديث? What category did we arrive to from the categories of al-hadith?
We were on the types of mudallas.
مدلس. جميلا. أين كتابي؟ طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فما معنى المدلس? So what's the meaning of مدلس يا إخوان؟ من يذكر? Who remembers the meaning of مدلس؟ تذكر يا شيخ؟
There's like two types of mudallas.
Two types?
One of them is when you skip the shaykh,
and
the other one is the chain.
You describe him تصفه لكن بصفة ليست مشهورا به. The first one is that you remove the shaykh مثلا, and the second one is that you don't remove him totally, but you describe him in a manner that description that he's not known by or known with accent. طيب فالآن أعطيكم تعريف التدليس. So now we're going to give you the meaning inshallah ta'ala of tadlis. قال والمعضل ساقط منه اثنان وما أتى مدلسا نوعان. So he says, and the mu'dal, the hadith that is called mu'dal, is the hadith in which two narrators are omitted. وذكرنا يا إخوان لكم هنا في هذا التعريف شرط أو ذكرنا في هذا الحديث شرطا. So we mention here a condition for the hadith to be mu'dal. Something has to be there. Something has to be there. Man ya'lam, who remembers, who knows? For the hadith to be mu'dal, a condition has to be there.
Two narrators have to be consecutive.
consecutive على التوالي. أحسنت. طيب وتعلمنا أن كل معضل منقطع ولكن ليس كل منقطع معضلا. We mentioned another benefit also for you students of Hadith. May Allah make us all students of Hadith يا إخوان. Every Hadith that is mu'dal is munqati', is broken. But not every munqati' is mu'dala. فالمعضل انقطاع خاص وماذا منقطع انقطاع عام. The word mu'dal, the chain is broken, yes, but it's a specific type of breakage. So not every mu'dal is munqati'. Munqati' is a general breaking of the chain. طيب اكتبوا هذا التعريف. Write down this definition يا إخوان. التدليس أو مدلس هو أن يروي الراوي عمن سمع منه ما لم يسمع منه بصيغة توهم السماع منه. أن يروي الراوي عمن سمع منه ما لم يسمع منه بصيغة توهم السماع منه. So I want you to write يا إخوان, the tadlis, or you could say mudallas, is when the narrator narrates from someone that he heard from. The narrator narrates from someone that's actually one of his mashayikh. He heard from this teacher, this shaykh. But what he's narrating right now, he didn't hear from him. So nukarriru hadha, let's say that again. The narrator is narrating from someone that he heard from. That's a shaykh. But this particular hadith here, lam yasma' minhu. He didn't hear it from him. But he mentions it in a way that gives the impression. He mentions it in a manner بصيغة التوهم السماع منه. He mentions it in a way that it looks like he heard it from him. It looks like he heard it from him. فمثالا, we'll give an example يا إخوان. من مشايخنا الشيخ أبو محمد عبد الحميد الحجوري الزعكري حفظه الله تعالى. وادعوا له الآن يا إخوان، هو مريض فاللهم اشفيه وجميع ماذا العلماء. طيب, for example, one of our mashaykh that we had the honor to benefit from is our Shaykh Abu Muhammad Abdul Hamid Al-Hujuri Al-Za'kari. And make dua for me, ikhwan, as the Shaykh he's sick now. He just came home from the hospital, mashallah, in Yemen there, and he said he's doing a little better. Keep him in your dua, inshallah ta'ala. طيب, one of our mashaykh that we had the honor to benefit from, who we still study with today, still alive in Yemen, Abu Muhammad Abdul Hamid Al-Hujuri Al-Za'kari. طيب, فسمعت منه كثيرا. So I heard a lot of things from him. لكن أعطيكم فائدة لم أسمعها منه وأذكرها كأنني أسمعها منه. So I'll give you an example. He's one of our mashaykh, but I'm going to mention something I didn't hear him say. Right? But I'm going to say it in a way that looks like I heard him say it. So he's one of our mashaykh. So I say مثلا عن الشيخ عبد الحميد الحجوري أقسام التوحيد قال بعض العلماء 2 قال بعضهم 3 قال بعضهم 4. طيب? So I say on the authority of our shaykh. So since I study with him and I say on the authority of him, I say an. It looks like I heard it from him, but I didn't hear this from him. I read it in one of his books. So I say on the authority of the Shaykh. Since you study with him, it looks like since you're saying an, that he heard it from him. He's one of his mashayikh. So this is mudallis or tadlis. And yarwi al-rawi amma sami'a minhu ma lam yasma' minhu بصيغة التوهم السماعي منه, where the narrator narrates from someone he heard from, something he didn't hear it from him, and he says it in a way that it gives the impression that he heard it from him. He says an or an on the authority of or that such and such said. So this is the general definition of tadlis, or you can say mudallas. من يكرر, who can repeat يا إخوان؟ أحدكم ماسك.
And means on the authority.
On the authority of. You can also say an بالعين and an with a fatha. كلمتان مختلفتان, two different words. An and an. One is on the authority of an al-Nabi, on the authority of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Or we say an al-Nabi, that the Prophet of Allah said. فهذا هو تدليس, or you can say مدلس. ما لم يسمع منه. ما لم يسمع منه. When the narrator narrates from someone something that he did not hear from him. He's one of his students, but this narration he didn't hear him say it, but he's attributing it to him. He says an or an on the authority of Sheikh Muqbil, مثلا an. So it looks like we're narrating it from him, but there's someone between us there that should be mentioned. This is mudallas. طيب من لم يفهم, who doesn't understand the issue of mudallas, tadlis.
So is that narrative doing it on purpose?
أحسن, هذا سؤال جيد. That's a nice question يا أخي. بارك الله فيك. May Allah bless you. أحيانا نعم. The answer is sometimes yes. وقد لا يكون مذموما وقد يكون مذموما. And sometimes the narrator who is doing tadlis, sometimes he could be doing something dispraiseful. And sometimes no. Sometimes no. مثالا, an example of that, مثلا إذا طيب من مشايخنا عبد الوادعية حفظها الله. From one of our mashaykh is a woman, the daughter of Sheikh Muqbil rahimahullah, one of our mashaykh. She's a female. فإذا العبد مثلا هو يظن أن الناس إذا يسمع أو يروي عن هذه المرأة الناس لا يستقبلونه منها لأنها مرأة فلذلك لا يذكرها. Sometimes the narrator, he has students. Suppose he thinks that if I mention that this is from a shaykha, she's a woman, the brothers may not take it because she's a woman. Sometimes that happens. أو شيخي صغير في السن والإخوة يضحكون لأنني أخذت العلم من شيخ صغير فلذلك يدلس. Another example, a person may have a young sheikh. The scholars are usually older. So he has a young teacher. So he may feel that the students, the people that he's talking to, narrating to, they may not take it. If I say the sheikh was young, he's 40, 45, nobody's a sheikh at that age. So you say my sheikh, and I mention him by name. Now you know, oh, that's the young sheikh. That what he's saying is incorrect. So he may make tadlis here. So sometimes it's done on purpose, and sometimes it's not done on purpose. مثال آخر, another example. هذا الراوي يروي عن شيخ وعند الآخرين هذا الشيخ ضعيف. عنده هو ليس بالضعيف. فيروي عنه. Another example, and this happens a lot. The narrator is narrating from his sheikh that the people deem him to be weak, the sheikh. But to him, he's not weak. But if he narrates it, the people see that sheikh to be weak. They're not going to take it. So he describes the sheikh in a different manner. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes not on purpose. على حسب النية, it depends on the person's intention. فلذلك قال بعض العلماء التدليس أخو الكذب. And as we mentioned a few times ago, some scholars they say tadlis is the brother of lying. Is the brother of lying. طيب. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومثال هذا أن سفيان بن عيينة حدث عن الزهري فقيل له سمعته من الزهري فقال لا ولا ممن سمعه من الزهري. An example of tadlis is the great Imam. He's an Imam of Hadith, one of the Imam, the great leaders of Hadith, Sufyan ibn Uyayna. He narrates on the authority of Zuhri. It was said to him, did you hear this from a Zuhri? He said, no. He said, nor did I hear it from someone who heard it from him. So he heard it from a student of a Zuhri. But he mentioned it an a Zuhri. Someone asked him, سمعت هذا من الزهري؟ قال لا. ولا من سمعه من. He said, nor did I hear it from someone who heard it from him. فهذا تدليس لأجل الإمام السفيان أسقط اثنين بينه. So here is tadlis. You can also say mu'dal here, because Sufyan ibn Uyayna, he mentions the narration, but he excluded two narrators here. He mentioned it on the authority of Zuhri, as if he heard it from Zuhri. But in reality, he didn't hear it from Imam al-Zuhri. So he excluded two narrators. بينه وبين زهري. وهذا تدليس مكروه جدا. And some scholars say that this tadlis is disliked. This type here is disliked. ذمه أكثر العلماء. And some scholars, they look down upon Sufyan ibn Uyayna for this regard. They say sometimes he makes tadlis. Some scholars, Hasan al-Basri, sometimes make tadlis. No. الله أكبر. قال واختلفوا في قبول رواية من عرف بهذا التدليس. Tonight's benefit. The scholars of hadith differ. Do you accept the narration of someone that's known to do tadlis? العلماء يختلفون في قبول رواية من عرف بالتدليس. The scholars of Islam, they differ. If someone in the chain is known to make this tadlis, do you accept his narration or not? الصحيح أن ما رواه المدلس بحفظ محتمل لم يبين فيه السماع والاتصال فحكمه حكم المرسل. First opinion. If someone who makes tadlis and he says it in a way that is not clear, if he heard it directly from the person or not, is this chain connected or not? It's not lam yubayyin, it's not clear. He says the strongest opinion here is that this is mursal. If someone is known to make tadlis and you can't determine how he said it, did he hear it from him directly? Is the chain complete or not? If إذا لم يبين, if it's not clear, فحكمه حكم المرسل. Then in this regard, this hadith will have the ruling of mursal. The hadith will be mursal. ما حكم المرسل? What's the ruling on the mursal hadith? من يذكر? Who remembers? mursal صحيح أو ضعيف? mursal?
Yes, since like the Sahabi is the one
is missing. So what's the general ruling of mursal?
It's accepted.
Accepted. Oh, who said that?
Since like the
Sahabi
are reliable.
طيب. If this,
They can be
or remember, the issue of the mursal, you don't know the Sahabi. If the Sahabi is missing, لا يضره. That doesn't harm. The thing that's fair with the mursal,
because maybe he heard it from another time.
it could be another tabi'i. So generally the mursal is ضعيف. هذا حكمه عموما. Generally the mursal hadith is منقطع, is broken. إذا نجد حديثا مرسلا حكمه عموما أنه ضعيف. If we come across a hadith that's mursal, قال حسن البصري قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, the general ruling of the hadith that's mursal is that it is broken. The chain is broken, so the hadith is weak. However, there's some ulama يقبلون حديث المرسل بشروط. منهم الإمام أحمد رحمه الله تعالى. There are some scholars, ya ikhwan, who accept the hadith as mursal. Not all the ulama, most scholars say it's weak. Some only accept it if it's the strongest hadith of that issue. Then they accept it. They have different conditions. Imam Ahmad says, أنه يقبل حديث المرسل إذا جاء من أكابر التابعين. Imam Ahmad had the position that he accepts the hadith as mursal depending upon who it's from. If it's from the lower tabi'un, no. The middle tabi'un, no. The elite, the major scholars of the tabi'un, he would accept it. So the general ruling of the mursal, ya ikhwan, أنه ضعيف, is that it is weak. Why is it weak? لماذا ضعيف? Why is it weak?
Maybe the narrator came from Tabi.
طيب, so what's the reason? What's
Also
the
the Sahabi is missing.
So the Sahabi is missing.
It's broken.
انقطاع السند. The chain is broken. انقطاع السند. If he mentions, if a tabi'i says call a nabi, you don't know if he heard it from a companion or another tabi'i. But generally, the hadith is munqati', it is broken. So the hadith that's munqati' is da'if. Can a hadith that's munqati' be accepted? Can a hadith that is broken be accepted? Be authentic or hasan? عندنا رواية مثلا قال حسن البصري قال النبي عليه السلام. Hasan al-Basri says that the Prophet of Allah said, this hadith is broken. It's munqati', it's mursal. طيب, هل تقبل هذه الرواية? Can this riwayah be accepted?
Yes.
How?
If there is another hadith.
Ahsant. If there's another narration, يبين لنا ما نساقط. Remember, ya ikhwan, just because you have one narration here, you can have another narration that teaches us, explains to us who is the person missing. If you have another narration clarifying, oh, Hasan al-Basri heard that from Ibn Abbas, but in this hadith he didn't mention it. He says, qala nabi. But there's another wording, another variation that lets us know he heard it from Ibn Abbas, who heard it from the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam. So this chain, Shaykh Albani does this a lot. This chain can be da'if, but there's another chain and it makes it hasan. In some books people get confused. Shaykh Albani, not all the time he mentions the sabab, the illah of the da'af. Sometimes when Shaykh Albani he mentions this hadith is weak, he doesn't always say why it's weak. Sometimes he does that if he explained it in another book. He say refer to that book, I already explained that. For example, go to Abu Dawood, page such and such and such and such, to save time. So sometimes if he already explained it, he may say this hadith is weak. Then you come across him again and he says this hadith is hasan. وَبَعْضَ الطُّلَّابِ يَظُنُّ فِيهِ تَعَارُض لَيْسَ فِيهِ تَعَارُض. Sometimes the students, they think, hey, I'm confused. One time Shaykh Albani says it's da'if, one time he says it's hasan. There's no confusion. Who can explain? One time he says this hadith is weak. Next time, same issue. Now the hadith is hasan.
Because
The weak one had somebody missing.
Huh?
The weak one had somebody missing.
Somebody could be missing, and then another chain could what? Could be a different chain, clarifying. Also remember, ya ikhwan, sometimes the scholars are talking about the riwayah right in front of them. The narration right in front of them. It doesn't mean there's not another hadith. Sometimes our beloved Imam Ayub is reciting to us after the salah from the book of Imam al-Bukhari, أدب المفرد. هذا الأدب المفرد كتاب عظيم. هو ليس كالأدب في كتاب الأدب في صحيح البخاري. كتابان مختلفان. The book by Bukhari, Al-Adab al-Mufrad, is not the same book in the Sahih of al-Bukhari, the book of manners. Two different books. Some Muslims think they're the same book, but somebody took it out of the Sahih and made it one book by itself. No, they're two different books. أحاديث في الأدب ليست كأحاديث في الصحيح قوة وصحة. لا أبدا. The hadith that are in Adab al-Mufrad are not like the hadith that's in Sahih. They're not as strong. They don't have the same conditions. وفي الأدب المفرد فيه كثير من أحاديث ضعيفة جدا. وليس جدا كثير. In the book Al-Adab al-Mufrad is a tremendous book. One of the best books you're going to study of manners and adab and character. but it has a lot of weak narrations. But sometimes the scholars, they say, this hadith is weak, but this chain is weak, but the hadith is sahih. You find that a lot in Adab al-Mufrad. This chain in front of you that Bukhari mentions, fiha da'af. It has weakness in it, but the hadith is sahih. What do they mean? جاء في حديث آخر بدون علة القادحة يصححه العلماء. That this chain that Bukhari used in Adab, this chain here has weakness. But it comes another hadith, the same exact wording in Nasa'i, in Muslim, and that chain is authentic. So you find that a lot. So the scholar could be talking about a hadith right in front of him. He says this hadith is weak. Or he says this chain is weak, but the hadith is sahih. He's talking about another wording or another chain of narration.
Is it allowed to take benefit from a weak hadith?
It's allowed. It is allowed. فلذلك بعض العلماء عندما يذكرون حديث ضعيفة يذكرون فوائدها. So for this reason you find many of the ulama of hadith, they mention a hadith, say it's weak, and still give you the benefits of it. Although it's weak. It could be linguistic. A meaning may come in another ayah. For example, قال النبي طيب hadith, what's the weak hadith ya ikhwan? The messenger, according to some of the people, they say the messenger alayhi salatu wasalam said النظافة من الإيمان. Cleanliness is from iman. هذا الحديث لا أصل فيه. لا أصل به. This hadith has no origin. لكن المعنى لا بأس به. But the meaning is there. نظافة من الإيمان. قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام الطهارة شطر الإيمان. الحديث عند الإمام مسلم من حديث مالك من حديث أبي مالك العشري رضي الله تعالى عنه. The Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام, he says tahara is half of iman. So it's a different wording. So you can say the meaning of the first hadith, it's okay. You can derive it from another narration. This one is collected by the Imam Muslim by Abu Malik al-Ash'ari, that the Messenger of Allah said at-tahara is half of iman. There's another hadith that people they say that the Messenger of Allah said اطلبوا العلم ولو بالصين من حديث أنس عند الإمام Ibn Abdul Barr في الجامع. The Messenger of Allah, he says, seek knowledge even if it's in China. Narrated by Anas, collected by Ibn Abdul Barr in his Jami' Bayan al-Ilmi wa Fadlih, his collection of narrations of knowledge and their virtues. This hadith is weak, ya ikhwan, but the meaning is there. إذا العلم في الصين فعلى طالب العلم أن يرحلوا إلى الصين. If their knowledge is in China, it's upon the students of knowledge to go to China. If knowledge is in Pakistan, it's upon the students of hadith to go to Pakistan. If the knowledge is in Yemen, it's upon the students to go to Yemen. You're going to go wherever knowledge is. For example, you're in a city or state that they teach Quran and Sunnah. You're not just going to sit there twiddling your thumbs. No, you're going to go to that masjid. You're going to go to those classes. You're going to go benefit. Walhamdulillahi wa rabbil alameen. So many of the ulama do mention some of the benefits of a weak hadith. It can be linguistic. It can be connected to another ayah or another hadith. Wallahu alam. Tafadhal Shaykh.
Students still go to Yemen to seek knowledge.
Even today, wallahi, أنا مستغرب. I'm amazed by this. Barakallahu fihim wa fikum wa fina. May Allah bless them, you and all of us. حتى الآن في ضمن الحرب العلماء لا يزالون يعلمون الإخوة في اليمن والأخوات في اليمن من الكتاب والسنة. حتى الآن. Even now, in the midst of a war, it's still a war in Yemen. It's not as to the level it was, but those Houthiyun are still doing what they do. For example, right now, today, you still have scholars there today still teaching the Quran and Sunnah. From them are Sheikh Abdul Hamid al-Hujuri. He's still in Yemen. He didn't leave like a lot of people. The Sheikh Muhammad ibn Hizam, still in Yemen. Sheikh al-Bur'i, they're still in Yemen. And they still teaching to this day, ikhwan. In the midst of a war, where somebody may say, hey, ya Sheikh, you don't have to teach no more. There's a war going on. He says, yes, we don't have to teach, but we're still going to teach. And if somebody kills us, somebody else comes and teach. And if somebody takes his life, somebody else comes and teach. He says, that's Islam. We're not going to stop, ya ikhwan, until Allah takes our soul. Alhamdulillah. So they're still there. Alhamdulillah. May Allah make it easy, ikhwan. Tafadhal.
Well, is there a reason they invaded?
I don't know their reason, ikhwan. Some of the people say these Houthis, they wrote a letter to different governments in the world asking them to surrender their country to them. The president years ago, Saleh, Abdullah Ali Saleh, they wrote a letter to him. And they said, hey, if you don't surrender the country, we're going to take it. And he retired. He didn't want to fight them, for example. At any rate, somebody has given them money and the likes. May Allah help us all, ya ikhwan. Now they're strong. They're the ones trying to take over the world, and may Allah help us, ya ikhwan. And they have a terrible image of Islam, and what they're doing is not from Islam. So it's upon us to learn our religion and to defend our religion from falsehood, ya ikhwan. Some of them say, I'm the leader of the Salafis. You were like, no, okay. At any rate, may Allah help us, ya ikhwan. But some of them are still there, teaching to this day, even in the midst of you could be killed. May Allah help us, ya ikhwan. Those who are really in jihad for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, still teaching, and the students still coming to the masjid. MashaAllah, just imagine, ya ikhwan. May Allah help us, may Allah help. طيب نمشي, let's continue, ya ikhwan. طيب قال شعبة بن حجاج. Let's write this benefit down, يا إخوان. قال شعبة ابن حجاج التدليس أخو الكذب. The Imam Shu'bah ibn Hajjaj, he used to say that Tadlis is the brother of lying. Tadlis is the brother of lying. Shu'bah ibn Hajjaj used to say At-Tadlisu Akhul Kadhib. And this is mentioned in the book Al-Kifaya fi Ilm Al-Riwaya, that which is sufficient regarding the knowledge of the narration. Al-Kifaya fi Ilm Al-Riwaya. طيب الآن أذكر إمامين مشهوران أو مشهورين بالتدليس. So now we're going to give you two great imams who were known to make tadlis. They would do this. قال بقية ibn Walid. One of them you're going to see in the chains when we get to the books, when we start memorizing the men in the chain. You're going to come across this name, Baqiyya ibn Walid. Baqiyya ibn Walid. وكذلك من المشهورين بالتدليس وليد ibn Muslim. Walid ibn Muslim. Also, you're going to come across a man who's known to make tadlis also. His name is Walid ibn Muslim. Alright, let's continue, ikhwan. The next line of poetry we're going to recite, ya ikhwan. I'll say it, you say it. I'll say it, you say it. قال الإمام البيقوني رحمه الله تعالى.
قال الإمام البيقوني رحمه الله تعالى.
وما يخالف ثقة به الملا. وما يخالف ثقة به الملا فالشاذ والمقبول قسمان تلا. إبدال راو ما براو قسم. وقلب إسناد لمتن قسم. قال الإمام البيقوني رحمه الله تعالى.
قال الإمام البيقوني رحمه الله تعالى.
وما يخالف ثقة به الملا.
وما يخالف ثقة به الملا
فالشاذ والمقبول قسمان تلا.
فالشاذ والمقبول قسمان تلا.
إبدال راو ما براو قسم.
إبدال راو ما براو قسم.
وقلب إسناد لمتن قسم.
وقلب إسناد لمتن قسم.
طيب اكتبوا هذا يا إخوان. Write this down. Al-Hadith Al-Shadh. Al-Hadith Al-Shadh. The Hadith that has a shadh. A shadh. طيب الشاذ هو مخالفة الثقة.
Is that the definition for the hadith?
Definition of hadith الشاذ. نعم. مخالفة الثقة لمن هو أرجح منه. مخالفة الثقة لمن هو أرجح منه. You're going to write? It's the opposition of a reliable narrator opposing someone who is more reliable than him. The opposition of a reliable narrator opposing someone who is more reliable than him. Al-Hadith al-Shadh, the hadith that is shadh, is the hadith that it has mukhalifatu thiqa, the opposition of a reliable narrator, liman huwa arjahu minhu, who's opposing someone more reliable than him. Al-Fa'idatu tata'allaq bil-shadh, a benefit connected to shadh. A benefit connected to shadh. وقوع الشاذ في السند وقد يكون في المتن. في السند وقد يكون في متن. The shadh can take place in the chain, and it can also take place in the matan. Shadh can take place in the chain. It can also take place in the matan. أو فيهما جميعا, 3 parts. And it can take place in the chain and in the matan together. So 3 parts. Shadh, وقوع الشاذ في المتن. Shadh can come in the text. وفي السند, it can come in the chain. وفيهما جميعا, and it can come in both of them together. Shadh can exist in 3 places. You're going to write, it can exist in the chain, it can exist in the matan, and it can exist in both of them together. Shadh can exist in the wording of the hadith, the matan. It can also, when we say matan, we're not meaning that the Messenger of Allah makes shadh. No. The wording that one of the narrators is saying, for example. So it can come in the matan, it can come in the sanad, and it can come also in both of them. So we can repeat the 3 places that shadh can be found.
أولا هو مخالفة ثقة لمن هو أرجح منه.
Accent.
وقوع الشاذ في السنة أو والمتن أو فيهما جميعا.
Accent. So shadh, the meaning of shadh, they're going to write the opposition of a reliable narrator, opposing someone who's more reliable than him. Is more reliable than him. It can also take place in one of 3 places. في السند, in the chain, في المتن, in the text, and in both of them together. In both of them together. طيب, قال الإمام الدارقطني. قال الإمام الدارقطني. Imam al-Darqutni, he narrates or he collects عن عائشة, on the authority of Aisha رضي الله تعالى عنها, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, that the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام كان يقصر في السفر ويتم ويفطر ويصوم. So this hadith is collected by Imam al-Darqutni. Imam al-Darqutni, he says, on the authority of Aisha, that the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, while he was on a journey, he was sometimes shorten his prayer and other times complete his prayer. And he would break his fast and sometimes he would fast. Sometimes while he was traveling, he would shorten his prayer and sometimes yutimmu, he would complete his prayer. And وَيُفْتِرُ وَيَصُومُ, sometimes he would not fast and sometimes he would fast. هذا الحديث عند الإمام الدارقطني. This hadith is collected by Imam al-Darqutni. وقال إسناد صحيح. And Darqutni said about the hadith, the chain is authentic. The chain is authentic. طيب الدارقطني قال إسناده صحيح. Al-Darqutni says about the hadith, in his opinion, in his blessed knowledge, one of the Imams of hadith, Darqutni, one of the great Imams of hadith, he says, إسناده صحيح. The chain is authentic. طيب فهذا حديث رجال إسناده ثقات. This hadith, all of the men in the chain are reliable. وقد صحح إسناده دارقطني. And Darqutni said the chain is authentic. لكنه شاذ سندا ومتنا. However, when you really look at the narration and dissect it and scrutinize it and check it, you find that it has shadh in two places. In the matan, in the wording, and also in the text. So Darqutni is saying the hadith is sound. However, other scholars say no. When you really look at it, they say this is a mistake that Imam al-Darqutni he made. Is it okay to correct a scholar? ما رأيكم في هذا? What do you guys say about that? Someone comes and say, hey, we love this Imam, but he got it wrong here. May Allah bless him. What do you say about that? Is that okay?
We have to.
That's difa' on the religion. That's a defense against the religion, ya akhwan. Our religion is not about friendship. It's not about alone. My skin color matches his skin color. That's my homeboy. I love you, ya akhi. I'm a white man. You're a white man. I love you because we have the same, mashallah. Put your hand right here. We have the same hand, ya akhi. I'm black. You're black also. Alhamdulillah. No. That's not from Islam, ya akhwan. You love all the Muslims. The black, the white, the Arab, the Indian, the Afghani, the African American, any country, the Chinese man, the Malaysian man, you love all the Muslims, ya ikhwan. That's our religion. Alhamdulillah. ولا تميلوا إلى الشخص لأنه من نفس البلد. لا أبدا. لا. And we don't incline towards someone because, hey, I'm from China and you're from China. No, that's not Islam. You love all the Muslims. You know all the Muslims. But you correct with manners and good conduct and good character. You're not going to be harsh like some people nowadays. The sheikh made a mistake. He's no longer a sheikh. Not like that, ya ikhwan. Or the imam made a mistake. He's no longer an imam. No, that's not from Islam, ya ikhwan. Al-khata'u yubayyin bi-baqa'i al-ihtiram. If it's a mistake, it has to be a mistake. It can't be his opinion contradicts my opinion. No, it has to be a khata', a mistake. If it is a mistake, al-khata'u yubayyin yusahih. Incorrect, a mistake is corrected. That's Islam. And you keep the honor of the brother. You keep the honor of the sister. Not like today. Somebody makes a mistake. The brother reads a book. Oh, Sheikh Al-Bani got it wrong. وَيَرْمِي الْكِتَابِ أعوذ بالله. هذا سوء الأدب. سوء الأدب. The person reads a book and he says, oh, this book has a mistake. and he takes the book and rips the book up. I'm not reading that book, it has a mistake. No, if you're a true student of knowledge, correct the mistake. Show us a mistake, correct it, and keep the honor. Sheikh Albani got real famous by doing that. In his country, in Sham, in Syria, he used to read a book that was real famous in the Hanafi madhab. Real famous. Usool Al-Thalaathah. A real famous book. But it had a lot of weak hadith.
Bahu.
Usool Al-Thalaathah, Imam Al-Ghazali. Imam Al-Ghazali. أعتقد نعم Imam Al-Ghazali. No. I think he was Shafi'i, but I think he was Shafi'i. Imam Al-Ghazali was Shafi'i, I believe, but I think he started off as Hanafi. Wallahu alam. And we'll check that. The book was by Imam Al-Ghazali. Either he was Shafi'i the whole time, or he began Hanafiyan and then turned to follow Imam Shafi'i's method. Wallahu alam. So the book was known in Syria, in Sham, for example. Imam Albani was Hanafi in the beginning. He wasn't Hadithiyan yet. He didn't follow the Hadith yet. When he first began his Talab al-Ilm, he was, as he would say, I followed the Hanafi madhab. Whatever the Hanafi madhab said, that was my way. Whatever they said, Abu Hanifa said, Abu Hanifa said, Abu Hanifa said, that's what I did. Then he started studying more and more and more and more and more. And he realized the great Imam is not always right. That sometimes there are other hadith. And we don't restrict our Islam to one madhab. No. We take the hadith wherever the hadith comes. If it's authentic, if it's not in our madhab, we take it. We take it. We teach mainly at Masjid Salam. There are many other scholars and students that teach in this state, this city. So somebody mentions from the Imam at Masjid such and such. What's the Imam at ITKCGC? What's that Imam there? Hafidhullah Ta'ala, may Allah bless him. His name escapes me at this moment, ya Ikhwan. They have two Imams there. Bakir.
He left though, he's not here.
Who's the teachers there? Mention one of the teachers. I think they have two teachers there. On Sunday schools they do something. That's the big masjid, right?
Yeah.
Whatever his name is, ya Ikhwan, may Allah bless him, may Allah honor him, may Allah raise him. So we're teaching something and we don't mention this hadith. The Imam there mentions that hadith. If it's authentic, we're gonna say, hey, no, the teachers at Masjid Salam didn't mention that hadith, so we're not gonna take that. No. If the hadith is sahih, if it's authentic, that's the only condition. If it's authentic, we're gonna take that hadith. If shaitan, ونعوذ بالله, علمنا حديث من حديث النبي ننكره لأنه من الشيطان لا أبدا. If shaitan comes to us, and we seek refuge from shaitan coming to us. If shaitan comes to us and teaches a hadith of the Messenger ﷺ, that's authentic. We're going to say, no, because that's from shaitan? No. No matter who it comes from, إِذَا كَانَ صَحِيحًا نَقْبِلُهُ عَلَى عَيْنِ وَالرَّأْسِ. No matter who it comes from, ya ikhwan, that's a principle. If it's authentic, we take it.
How do you know if it's authentic or not?
Oh, you know the answer here. How do you know if it's authentic?
What if he lies about it and say like it's sahih?
Now you check it. What's the hadith sahih?
What? Like you don't know the chain though, that's what I'm saying.
Like if you don't know, then you can't ascertain. That's different. If you don't know the chain, for example, sometimes the way we narrate hadith, we don't mention the chain all the time. Somebody may say, well, how can I check it? So that can be difficult. You may have to mention the chain or find the chain, because from the condition of the authentic hadith is that the chain has to be complete. So shaitan comes to you when he mentions a hadith and you can't ascertain it. Then you make tawaqquf, then you stop. Because you can't say it's authentic, you can't say it's weak. So you stop. Until you learn, oh, that chain is weak, hadith is weak, for example. Or that hadith is authentic. That's different. Somebody comes to you that's a non-Muslim. And it says, Bukhari mentions the hadith, going back to the Messenger of Allah. And it's authentic. You're going to say, no, I can't take that because it came from you. That's not Islam, ya ikhwan. Take it al-akhdhu bil-madahib wasila, laysa al-ghaya. Taking a madhab is just a means. It's allowed, it's a means. It's not the goal. It's not the goal. The madhab is just an instrument to teach you how to surmise, how to ascertain if the hadith is authentic. That's it. Nowadays we go to war, we fight one another. I won't marry my daughter to the brother because he's Shafi'i and I'm Hanafi. No, not like that. I won't pray at his masjid. If that brother leads the salah, no, he's going to pray with his hands on his stomach. He's Hanafi. I'm Hanbali. I'm not going to pray behind him. No, that's your ignorance. That's your ignorance, ya ikhwan. It's allowed to take a madhab. بِشَرَطٍ وَاحِدٍ عَدَمُ التَّقْلِيدِ. As long as you don't blind follow. And some people say, why don't you say it's recommended? You say it's allowed. Because we learn in Islam, to say something is recommended, you need proof. You need a command from Allah's Messenger. Somebody may say, most scholars took a madhab. Allah alam the number. Only Allah knows the number. But we say many scholars took a madhab. And many scholars did not take a madhab. Every scholar you name that has a madhab, I can give you another scholar that didn't take a madhab. Starting with
Bukhari.
Before Bukhari. Who would I begin with?
Sufyan.
Before Sufyan. Before Hassan. Before any tabi'in you give me.
Sahaba.
The companions. Right? Somebody says, hey, Ibn Kathir was Shafi'i. That's true. Ibn Taymiyyah was Hanbali. That's true. Who else? Muhammad ibn Hassan was Hanafi. True. One of the best scholars of fiqh you're ever going to study. True. But he didn't blind follow Abu Hanifa. People forget that. He loved Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa went, he went. He sat in almost all of his classes. That was his main sheikh. His main sheikh. He said, أَنَا خَالِفُ شَيْخِي فِي مُعْظَمِ الْمَذَاهِبِ. He said, I differ with my sheikh in most of the madhab. One narration, a third of the madhab. But that's my sheikh. He didn't blind follow. And this is the true student of knowledge. You're not going to blind follow. My sheikh said it, so it has to be like my sheikh said. No, that's not Islam, ya ikhwan. You have to do the taftish. You have to do the research. You have to do the bahth. You have to sometimes go back and check it, for example. And no one should get offended there. No one should get offended there. That's Islam. That's seeking knowledge, for example. At any rate, so it's allowed to take a madhab. One of our beloved brothers asked us recently, why don't you take a madhab? I say, I'll take a madhab if you wish. La bas. What's my madhab? I follow the madhab of the Prophet. If you want me to say the word madhab, okay, I'll play your little game. My madhab is the madhab of the Prophet. Because to you, you think that there are only 4 madhab. I say, no, I'll follow the madhab of Abu Bakr, Umar, Aisha, Abu Hurairah. What was their madhab? They took the hadith of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. What was Bukhari's madhab?
Quran and Sunnah.
He took the hadith. He followed the Quran and Sunnah. He was hadithi. Wherever the hadith went. Imam al-Shafi, he did have a madhab. When he first began, he used to blind follow Imam Malik. When he first began. And then he accepted the hadith of the Messenger ﷺ, no matter where it came from. Shaykh al-Bani, rahimahullah, used to be Hanafi. He used to say, I was Hanafiyan. I was Hanafi. In my beginning, seeking knowledge, I was Hanafi. And then he began to study more and more and memorize more hadith and more hadith, more hadith. And then he took the hadith no matter what madhab it came from. And that should be the student of knowledge, ya ikhwan. So this book, Irwal al-Ghalil, was a tremendous book in fiqh, but it has a lot of weak ahadith. Shaykh al-Bani didn't come and burn the book like some people say today, the book has a mistake, burn it. No, that kalam doesn't even sound like a Muslim. You're going to burn up, not like that, ya ikhwan. So Shaykh al-Bani, what did he do? He came, وَيُصَحِّحْ الْخَطَأَ فِيهِ يَجْعَلَهُ أَكْثَرَ نَفَعًا لِلنَّاسِ لِلْقُرَّاءِ لِلْحُفَاظِ. So what did Shaykh al-Bani do? He came and he corrected those weak narrations that are there. Those hadith that were weak, he showed that they were weak and why they are weak. And then he mentioned the authentic ones in their places. He made it more beneficial. And he became famous for this, mashallah ta'ala. But his first earlier works, he was correcting some narrations that came. Sheikh Mukbul used to say in Yemen, we wish we had more time to correct this book and correct that book. He used to say, I wish somebody comes and checks the hadith in Imam Malik's Muwatta. One of the best books you're going to study in fiqh, but it has a lot of weak narrations. He said, I wish somebody comes from the students, from the mashaykh, and put the authentic ones in one volume and the weak ones in another volume. Tremendous. There's no time to play. There's no time. If you took the books that have weak narrations, somebody comes and corrects them. For example, it's a task. It's a defense of the Sunnah of the Messenger. It's a defense of Al-Islam, for example. Look how many times people come and say Allah said, and that verse is nowhere in the Quran. Someone comes and shows and clarifies that this is not from the Quran. This is the verse you should have said. Or this is not in Bukhari. This is the hadith that's in Bukhari. You find that many times, therefore. So that's why we are in need of students of knowledge. You brothers, mashallah, can be the ones. Somebody says, why in Kansas City we don't have no judges? We don't have nowhere where you can take your affairs to outside the masajid. That's true. We don't have nowhere you can go except the masajid. You brothers and sisters can be the ones. We have a panel, alhamdulillah, and the issues come to these 10 brothers, these 10 sisters, mashallah. They come together with their knowledge of Quran and Sunnah and answer the questions of the people. Alhamdulillah. Why nobody came yet and took Kitab al-Tawheed and clarified all the authentic hadith from the weak hadith and put it in one volume, one book? It'd be amazing, ikhwan. May Allah bless you all, ya ikhwan. You brothers and sisters could be the one. May Allah bless you all and allow all of us to be from the students of knowledge of this blessed religion. We have 1 minute left, ya ikhwan. Anyone has any comments or questions or say or anything? We'll stop there, inshallah.
Yeah, I want to make that.
طيب لا بأس سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. تفضل يا شيخ. وإياكم وإياكم. Y'all keep up the good work, ya ikhwan. May Allah bless you all, ya ikhwan.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allah.